Greetings everyone, I'm Jim. Welcome to another video. As you've probably read, this is the server for your Homelab not to buy. Now, I'm not saying that this is a particularly bad server, but there are some key reasons why, if you ever get offered one of these servers, I would suggest you don't use it, purely and simply for the following reasons. Server. This is a Fujitsu RX1330 M1. This server is here for one reason. It's not going to be part of my Homelab. Now, I have used these servers in the past, and in their time, they were not bad priced servers, but they have two major flaws. One, caddies. A hard disk caddy for this server, second hand, with no hard disk in it, in the UK alone is £50. So for two hard disk caddies, you can buy an entire server. This server cost £100 in the UK. But if I wanted to put discs in this, especially if I wanted to put 8 hard disks in it, because his has got the 8 2.5-inch bays in it, it would cost £400. Whereas a Dell, you can buy hard disk caddies for £5 a caddy. So that's the first one. The second one, the reason we actually have this server here is, of all things, power supplies. This server has two power supplies in it, both 450 watt. We cannot find these for love nor money, so I've had to buy a whole server second hand with good working power supplies to get a working power supply to go into one of these servers. So you end up buying servers just for one component to keep a server online for a client of ours. So these are the two main reasons I suggest avoiding that. I'll cover the third reason actually now, because there is a third. Now, with the lid off, you'd look, well, it seems a fairly standard one-use server. Processor, fans, memory. This one even comes with a RAID controller, which negates one of the weak points on this server, which is the onboard RAID card. Now, the onboard RAID cards on the Fujitsu RX1330s is atrocious, to the point at which it will not actually hold a RAID array stable if it's got solid state disks in it. If you use solid state disks with the onboard RAID controller on these, the RAID array will fail. In fact, I've had it fail so many times on these with solid state in them, and even with spinning disks in them, that I gave up with it and ended up with single disks and did other ways. But also, a lot of these, which I'll show you, were only ever supplied with a 4-bay backplane. So you can only actually put in 4 disks. These bays here are empty. So everything on the Fujitsus is either ridiculously expensive for parts or was an option. Everything was an option on these servers. So I know this, as I say, I've ordered enough of them over the years that you can order it with an 8-bay, but you then had to get, obviously, additional things in it. But as we have it here, I'll do a quick overview anyway of it. So, obviously, this is the 8-bay version. They did do, I believe, a 4-bay 3.5-inch version. Obviously, it comes with no discs because this was second-hand. But it does, however, come with CD-ROM drive, USB on the front, power, etc., etc. We've got the ability to release the CD-ROM. Out it comes. And you can actually fit, with an adapter, a hard disk in there. So if you only have the 4 bays, and you do have one of these already, you can fit a 5th hard disk in them. Xeon E3 generation. So this one has, I believe, maybe a 4-core, 4-thread processor in it. It's a 1231. I'll flash up on the screen what it is. Someone actually opted for the additional RAID controller for this device, which was a sensible upgrade. I wish I'd known about the limitations at the time, but that's something that we found out through use. Obviously cooling fans, 4 memory slots. Again, these servers whinge like hell if you do not use Fujitsu memory in them. Another fun thing on the Fujitsus. And it comes with 3 in total PCIe 8 times slots. I believe that's another one tucked under there. Yep, there you go. So in their little risers. But yes, very basic overview. not the best servers for home lab use, purely and simply because when they go wrong, they are costly to fix. Now, this may not be the case in the whole world, but in the UK, most definitely so. As I say, we've bought this server because we need a power supply. That's the reason this server is here. It's going to have the power supply tested in a minute, so I'll fire it up and we'll just see what it's doing. But I'm not going to bother loading anything onto it because I don't need to see if any of this bit's working. I only need to make sure these are working, and then it will probably go and sit on a shelf for the rest of its life, ready as a parts bin. Well, just to idle, we're using 9 watts. Oh, there we go. It's decided to power itself up. So that's a good start. So I've got 50 watts-ish powering up. Interestingly, however, not heard any fans spin up yet, and these things get nice and rowdy normally. Anyone left anything nice in there? Ah, excellent. I've been supplied with a server with configuration in it. So, 2013 LSI Mega RAID card built into, that's what the SAS card in is. Here we go. I'll wait for it to quieten down. Well, it was kind of them. They've sent the server out complete with its old config still on it. So let's just see what we've got. Yay, we've made it into the BIOS. Okay, well, date and time are good. So again, it's standard Fujitsu BIOS, nothing particularly special. From memory in these, we've got everything turned on. Yeah, turbo, virtualization, all the normal fun stuff. We have got in this a E3 1231 V3, which is 4-core 8-threaded. You can get an 8-core, I believe. But I'll double check what is the maximum you can get in this. But again, not recommending it. Purely and simply because there are too many issues with this actual server chassis model. One of the other critical things is at 11 PM every day the server does a full fan test. I haven't found where to turn it off. I may be wrong that you can't, but I'm pretty sure you can't. So you end up with a nice full fan spin up at 11 o'clock every night. Great fun. So nothing particularly special about the BIOS. I'm just trying to find where the option in this to switch it to UEFI is. I know it does exist in here. Is it hidden under boot? There we go. So we want to turn off compatibility stack. And from memory, that should be it. Well, we're back. Server 2022 all loaded up. Firmware update's done just to make sure it is all up to date. Everything seems to be working, so this server won't probably be alive for much longer because it will be parts. But why not do some Cinebenching? So let's just see what we get and see how loud it gets, and I'll show you exactly how much power it's going to use as well on a full load test. Again, I've not got much in the way of a resolution, purely and simply because this server doesn't really support 2022 and I haven't found the graphics driver yet. It would be a, I don't know, something simple, a speed or something, but not too fussed. As we can see, 4 cores, 8 threads, little baby Xeon, and flat out we are using, so give or take 100 watts. I'll keep an eye on it, but that's a full load on this. This server is using 100 watts. It's only got one hard disk in it, so compared to the others, it's actually not that bad. But unfortunately, the cost of caddies, the fact that most of these are beyond poverty spec in terms of lacking backplanes, everything else, I would not actually recommend this as any form of Homelab server. They do make okay servers, or they did in their time, but far too many issues other than with the actual system. They have this annoying tendency, as I said, with the RAID card to drop the drives. Parts are pretty difficult to get hold of, well, here in the UK. And oh, hopefully we'll get a bit of noise. Yeah, it's getting a bit warm now, so the fans are starting to ramp up. You might be able to hear that. But yes, and 11 o'clock every night the fans go full speed for about 30 seconds to a minute as it does a fan test. And I haven't found any way of turning that off. Someone may correct me down below in the comments. But this is a thing. We're nearly at the end of this. Let's just see what we get out of the Xeon E3. But while that's doing that, if you want to see me carry on, I have many more servers that have arrived recently in some interesting ones. Please do hit the subscribe button and feel free to find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the normal stuff. Come say hello over on Discord and come and natter. I'm here most of the time somewhere answering questions on the forums. And it'd be nice to get you along. Comments, as ever, always welcome. Any ideas? Say, I've got a selection of pieces of equipment. This is a bit of a different one, purely and simply because this server was acquired very rapidly to get parts from it. So I thought, while it's here, before we strip it down, I will test it and see what we get out of it. There we go, coming up for the last little bits. The Xeon E3s were a bit limited, unfortunately. They're good little chips. Where are we? Down there. So just below so we're above a 4th gen Core i7. Pretty much bang on with a 4th gen Core i7, which would make sense, seeing as how this generation Xeon is the same pretty much generation as the Core i7. Obviously clock speed's a bit better, but that is what it is. So thank you for watching. Hope this has been useful in a direction of not buying this server, and catch you again in the next video where we'll be back to servers that are a bit more useful. See you soon.